We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Jaylen Waddle, Miami Dolphins wide receiver, who just got a huge contract extension. Love the deal that it brings. You know, they added on 3 years to his 2-year deal, so I think the numbers end up working out pretty nicely, and coming out to about like 5 for 108 instead of, you know, that 3 for 84, which, you know, some people had problems with. But by the time his number's gonna kick in, Waddle's probably gonna be your number one anyways, and that deal is gonna look beautiful down the line. But some things I was seeing on Twitter, people talking about Waddle, is, you know, they see him more as like a wide receiver 2, which I completely disagree with. I think just because he's technically the wide receiver 2 of the Dolphins, you know, behind Tyreek Hill, who's the best receiver in the league, that doesn't mean Waddle is a wide receiver 2. They think he can't do certain things, line up, beat the best corners in the league, which when he has gotten in those situations, he's proven time and time again. They also think, you know, like Tyreek takes a bunch of the coverage, and while Tyreek does get a lot of attention, there's plenty of times, plenty of examples of Waddle getting double teamed as well, same as Tyreek, and he's just absolutely cooking people. He does it all. To me, he has one of those skill set. I watched the film, and he is easily, to me, a top 10 receiver in this league, around that, you know, 8 to 10 range. And there's a lot of good receivers too. He just doesn't get that same level of volume, but there's a reason he does so great in all those advanced stats. He's just constantly getting open, and we're gonna, you know, break down this film. This game specifically, this Jets game, was the one game Tyreek didn't play at all, so Waddle was that, you know, number one receiver on the team this week, and he absolutely cooked them. They had literally had no answers for him, and you got to think, you know, with the Jets, they are talked about as the top corner duo in the league, top secondary, one of the best defenses, and Waddle has had his way with DJ Reed, and he even has, when he has lined up against Sauce, had very good reps, and, you know, just looking at this play, he's so good at manipulating. I think people underestimate his route running ability. He just does the little nuances correctly. Like, first of all, firing off the ball, really making all of his, you know, routes look vertical. So then when he does, you know, break off, people are caught off guard. But then when he does go vertical, he's able to make all his routes look the same. He gives this slight inside, you know, move right here to get this DB to open up his hips just for a split second, get him to freeze his feet. And that's all Waddle needs. Even with this amount of space, he's so explosive. He's able to just get on top of you, stack you, track that ball in. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't think people understand the level of talent that Waddle has. Like, if he was getting these targets that, you know, players around him, like the, you know, Amon-Ra St. Brown is getting paid a little bit more with him. I think Waddle, if he was getting the same level of targets, was the number one like Amon-Ra was, people would see Waddle as the better player. But that's just me. Here, Tyreek and Waddle are actually getting double teamed. Tyreek gets clearly double teamed, but this safety is supposed to get Waddle, and Waddle just absolutely cooks this guy off the line. This is from 2022, actually. He has some insane numbers throughout his first 3 seasons. And just getting off the ball, he beats press very quickly, wastes no time getting into his route, just creates that natural separation, gets on top of you so quickly that even the safety who was planning to double team couldn't get over the top because they just underestimate how quick, how explosive, how twitchy he is. He does it here again, this time against Stephon Gilmore. He gets isolated one-on-one, but Gilmore has all this room to work with. Look at the cushion, the space. He's opening up his hips early, and Waddle still just, boom, gets up on that cushion, gets right past him like it's nothing. He's a downfield vertical threat. He can run the full route tree. Here he is, cooking Sauce Gardner, who's playing, you know, in like an off-man position, in between, like that soft press off-man type look, and he just gets on top of him again. Every time he's really gone against Sauce, I feel like he's won this battle more often than not. Really just creating that natural separation down the field. I don't really understand a lot of the talk where they don't think Waddle can win his isolation. Look at here, on the backside of this play, 3-by-1, one-on-one versus Sauce Gardner. You know how rare it is for a receiver to take an inside break? Let me go back and watch this again. Taking an inside break on an out route like this is insane. Most receivers are not going to be able to get through this. And then against a much bigger corner in Sauce, who's, you know, very tall, gets very physical, over physical at times with his aggressiveness and holds, to be able to get on top of him and then work through the contact and have the athleticism and the speed to just get through that. Love the physicality that he played with here too. So they can get back to the outside and still get separation and win his one-on-one there. That's ridiculous. That's not the stuff you see. And also, Waddle doesn't always get to show off his crazy route running chops in the Dolphins offense because it's very timing based. They get to their spot, they throw it. You know, that's another reason, you know, Waddle's numbers are very high. He doesn't get a ton of, like, maybe the targets he wants, but he gets very, you know, high, you know, yards per reception. He led it in 2022. Last year in 2023, I think another reason people were sleeping on him is because he was fighting through injuries all year long. So if he stays healthy, people are going to absolutely recognize him as a clear wide receiver 1 in this league. I don't even know how it's, honestly don't understand how it's even debatable when you turn on the film. But just really good job selling hard to the inside to make this cut right here is so difficult. All the way back to the outside. Gets this DB to open up his hips. Absolutely fool him. He doesn't get a lot of opportunity to do this because, as I was saying, the timing, ball comes out quick. He's, you use that first read, that ball is coming out. So he actually gets a chance to, really run a route, and he makes people look absolutely silly. He has plenty of good reps for Sauce. Sauce tries to press him. He's not even able to get hands on him. It's not like he creates a ton of separation here or the ball comes his way. But when you watch Sauce play, when he's going in versus Waddle and Reek, you can tell he is in so much more of a panic mode compared to other receivers. And Sauce is a very good corner, one of the best corners in the league. But there was enough room there. Here it is again. He doesn't get targeted, but look at him just get off the ball, down the field, separation. If that, ball was going to go in that direction, there was a chance for it to be done. Definitely you see him playing in a oh no mode a lot when you see the Sauce. And then Waddle, obviously, great with the ball in his hands. Another area of his game, he doesn't get to quite showcase as much as you probably like. But he does do a lot of work in the screen game. He gets a lot of screens for the Dolphins, and definitely takes those pretty welcoming when he gets his one-on-ones out in space. You can see he really does a great job with his pace and his tempo, whether it's in the route stem or just out, with the ball in his hands, making people miss. I think he plays bigger than his size, which he's not given credit for a ton. I think, we've seen him work. He just needs to be more of a hands catcher and stop jumping at the catch point, and that will really even take his game to another level. Obviously, there's things, every receiver can work on. Those are the things for Waddle. But to me, I've already seen a top 10 receiver, whatever it is. He absolutely dominated this Jets game as the number 1. He takes very good angles on his routes, sharp route break. Guys have to respect his speed, playing off, opening up. Definitely worried. Here he is at the bottom. He was cooking this Browns corner. I think this is Emerson, 23, who's also seen as a good corner in this league. But when he's getting the press, these aren't just, these are reps that you show you're a clear number 1. When you get these press one-on-one, you absolutely cook your out off the ball down in the red zone. There's just a quick pressure. He ends up throwing it to Tyreek, and Tyreek gets the touchdown. But look how he absolutely cooks him. So much explosiveness. He was doing it to Emerson throughout the game. He's out getting him to turn around, working blind spots. He just puts corners in such a tough spot, and I feel like if you're asking corners, they don't want to go against Waddle. Because he understands how to, it's not that he's just fast and twitchy, which, there's a lot of fast, twitchy guys, but not a lot of them have even ended up working out because they don't know they're not great football players. Waddle's a great football player. He understands the nuances of the game. He knows how to use his feet. He knows how to, change up the tempo, get these DBs in tough spots, create these, like how many times have we seen him run, these glance routes in the Dolphins offense timing, catch the ball, and then look at him just catch it, spin out, like just a natural feel for the game, avoid the big hit. Waddle, even when look at the Patriots corner here, he is many yards inside, playing inside leverage, expecting this throw, and Waddle's so explosive, he's able to cross this guy's face and still get this completion, even though this DB is hard sitting on and trying to play that. Like, Waddle is special, man, and I feel like if Tyreek wasn't on the team, more people would probably realize that. Like, he definitely gets credit from a lot of people, but there's just, specific people that don't give Waddle the credit he deserves, and it's kind of mind-blowing to me. So I felt the need to make this video. There's a reason he got paid. I really like the contract. Definitely can be a great vertical threat, understands the nuances when it comes to route running, great route runner. Just want to see him be more of a hands catcher, less jumping at the catch point, which I think he's looked like he's worked on in the offseason at least. Looks very twitchy, explosive, one of the most twitchy, and probably the second most twitchy guy in the league after Tyreek Hill. And I think, once Tyreek ends up, moving on from the Dolphins, however that, story ends up playing out, I think Waddle is the clear number 1. I don't think they're going to be like, oh, we got to now go get a number 1. Now, if another number 1 happens to fall in your lap like Tyreek did, then yeah, you take that chance if it's, good value, like how they got with Hill. But they're not worried if Waddle has to be their number 1. I think they're very confident in what he brings. So if you go to the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get started.